لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your brother Amir Junaid, and we're back with Hajj Memories. Alhamdulillah, I have another very special guest, a good friend of mine, another one of the first brothers I've met coming into the fold of Islam. Alhamdulillah, I'm just so happy to see him here performing this beautiful pillar of Islam. I got my brother Abu Saeed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kayfa halak akhi? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So this segment right here, I get an opportunity really to benefit, you know what I'm saying? Having a brother Jabir here, you know, both of us first time Hajis, it's kind of like, you know, two babies being born. But you, on the other hand, you know, you're past that stage of puberty as far as, you know, performing the pilgrimage of Hajj. So this time I get an opportunity to actually benefit from some of your memories and some of your experiences, and also, you know, kind of elaborate on some of the things I've experienced thus far. But first and foremost, I just want to say, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen us, you know what I mean, by His mercy to perform this Hajj. And I know that alone stirs up a lot of emotions. But let's go back into your first Hajj, the Hajj that you performed previous to this Hajj. And may Allah accept that Hajj.
Ameen. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Hajj memories for me are many. I accepted Islam in 2004. And one of the requirements, one of the pillars of Islam was the Hajj. And I met the requirements. I was physically fit and I had the finances. So I was on the next plane smoking in 2005. So never been out the country before. I'm on this flight, a 12-hour flight to Saudi Arabia. Got a lot of flack from my family, my mother, my sisters and brothers. Alhamdulillah, this is what Allah had decreed for me. The most humbling experience of the Hajj is putting on the towels.
MashaAllah.
The towels, I mean, you can have Bloomberg money, Bill Gates money. When you put them towels on, it really humbles you.
It really humbles you now, mashallah.
I made it again. I was able to make it again in 2007 with my family. And as we sitting here in Mina, I'm looking at the tents. It was a time, me and my wife, we was lost out here for 5 hours walking around looking for the tents.
I mean, I can see how you can get lost. If you look at all this, like, Aki, you know, without any landscapes, if it was just tents and no landscapes, you probably like missed the whole, you know, ritual.
I thought I had a landmark. It was a big yellow balloon that was there, so I was like, okay, that's it. So we walked around for 2 hours before I could muster up the pride to ask someone, where am I? I had the little red bracelet that they give us,
yeah.
So I'm showing it to this officer, this officer, this officer. And it took another three and a half hours before we finally made it back to the tent.
SubhanAllah.
So every now and then I tease her, you know, I say, I'll take you back to Mina. we'll go for that walk. And, you know, it's funny now, but
yeah, nah.
Then it really wasn't funny.
Alhamdulillah.
It wasn't funny. So alhamdulillah, that was another one of the experiences for the Hajj.
Going back though, what about the first time, you know, you entered Masjid Haram and you first set eyes on the Kaaba, and you know?
Well, actually go back before then when we came into Medina, because every time we came to Medina first.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
So we you would see the pictures of Masjid Nabawi and all the masajids, and when you first, after the long plane ride, the long bus ride from Jeddah to Medina, you're exhausted, but when you hear someone say, look up, you see all these lights and the minarets, you forget about the long plane ride, the long bus ride.
MashaAllah.
And when you step into the masjid, you can't even really, you have no kashur with the salah, just in awe of the masjid, of the structure, just the huge size of it. So you have no focus, no kashur in the salah, you study looking around, you know, like, wow, I'm here. Then you really get a chance to really move around the masjid, and you can't wait for the next salah. You can see why the people just won't leave the masjid. They'll stay from salah to salah to salah. Then, you know, the anticipation builds of leaving from Medina,
going
to Mecca. Then when you finally get to the Haram, there's nothing that can top that.
Nah.
When you up on the third level and you looking down and you see this wave of people just going around, it's truly mesmerizing.
Nah, alhamdulillah. So let me. So like, what was the most? What would you say was the most difficult Hajj for you? Being that you was able to make Hajj twice, was it more difficult the first time, or was it more difficult when you had your family with you, or even maybe now it may been some trial in performing the Hajj this year?
I would say when I had my family with me.
Yeah, because I noticed that.
I can maneuver around and get around, but when you have your wife with you, you're very cautious and protective.
Yeah.
The masses of the people, you don't want her to fall. She can get trampled and killed.
Wallahi, Aki, I've seen brothers with their families. Sometimes, just overly aggressive. It's kind of crazy, because first of all, us being men and having, families, we already have a certain sense of, jealousy towards, But when you're in a situation where you and your wife are trying to perform this ibadah, and you're squeezing through a lot of individuals, and the only thing you really got to hold on to is probably your wife's hand. Sometimes, bodies get in between that, because I've never witnessed this. I never had to, endure this. So I just wanted to ask you, because I'm always seeing it, but what's the real extent of how, difficult that may be, inshallah?
It's very difficult. How can you go back home and tell a family? How can you come back home without her? Number one. So you're a bit more aggressive in trying to protect her. Some people go overboard. It's just extremely difficult. They have on the long hijab. Somebody step on it and pull. I've seen women, actually get choked with it. So it's extremely dangerous. I would advise the brothers to maybe take their families upstairs. On the second or the third level and. Not bring them down where the crowd is extremely hectic.
Yeah.
But it's
good
a
advice.
beautiful experience. Though.
Yeah, that's good advice, because I was actually kind of hard-headed this trip. I was trying to make my way to the Black Stone, and the brothers that I was performing the tawaf with, they took the easy route. They was going around the outside, but I was going around the outside maybe 3 times, and it was smooth.
Yeah.
And I kind of seen this opening. So I tried to make my way to it. Wallahi, it's I became like a sandwich, and I was like, yo, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's the difficulty in performing a Hajj is not something that's discouraging. So by explaining this, I don't want people to think that to be discouraged about the difficulties, because these trials come with reward, especially if you can maintain your patience and keep the niyyah, keep the intention of doing it solely for the sake of Allah. So many trials we face in our life, it become hardships, but the reality of it is this type of difficulty actually goes inclusive with the ibadah, so it's a whole different, way you internalize, the complications of performing a Hajj. But right now in Mina, will there be any complications with performing this aspect of it?
Not in Mina. The only difficulty one may face in Mina is when you leave to head to the Jamarat. It can be crowded. As with anything dealing with the Hajj, the people push, they shove, and in my experience of the Hajj, sometimes the women are more aggressive than the men. They down in the mix of it, trying to get to the Yemeni corner in the Black Stone. They pushing, and they're much more aggressive than the men.
What about the Jamarat? What do I have to expect, getting to the Jamarat?
Well, alhamdulillah, the Saudi government, may Allah, reward them. They've made it easier now. From the first time I made Hajj in 2005, they've added an extra couple of levels. So now you can go up 2 or 3 levels, and people still stay on the first level and fight and push. When there's 2 levels up, that's easy. You can get right at the stone and throw your pebbles and be out of there in 10 seconds.
Yeah, what happened to somebody that don't know how to throw? There haven't been any incidents with...
I've seen people get their heads busted. People, they think they're throwing a baseball.
Subhanallah.
They throw shoes.
Subhanallah.
Hijabs, they throw everything.
Subhanallah.
So it can be, the first year I made it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
In 2005, it was very dangerous. But now it's actually very easy now for the general.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purify intentions and, not allow us to transgress upon, beyond the limits, alhamdulillah. But out of fact, Arafat is something that I think a lot of people that know I'm performing Hajj, they seem more excited or more like, supportive in like, Arafat, like, like the virtues of Arafat. Because I mean, of course, visiting Masjid Haram, making tawaf around the Kaaba, going between Mount Mahra, Mount Safa, all of this is beautiful. Wallahi, it is. But when you see Arafat, it's like this is where the dua requests come in. And I've experienced it since, I've informed a few of my loved ones that I was making Hajj, or a few Muslim brothers that, that I'm, very close with. This is where everyone starts trying to, extract dua for you. I mean, I had brothers telling me like their whole name, like their government name. Like, some of us, we have Muslim names, but on our passport, it's still our, our name from birth.
No.
So, it's weird when you have a brother that you've been calling by his Muslim name ever since you know him, and then he turn around and tell you, my name is Falan Johnson / I was like, yo, hold on. Like, I already had my mindset just saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make it easy on the brother, Abu Falan or whatever. And he's like, yo, no, Akhi, don't say that. My name is such and such and such and such, Junior. I said, wow. So, it's like, it just shows you how, people who ask you to supplicate on their behalf, they want to make sure that the supplication is being answered according to, the name on their passport. Like, how you experience that?
The Hajj and Arafat, there's some narrations where the Prophet ﷺ said, Hajj is Arafat.
No.
And there's other narrations where, he said that there's no other day where Allah frees more slaves from the hellfire than on the day of Arafat. So it would behoove any Muslim to beg their friend, whoever's making Hajj, to make dua for him. The requests have come in greatly with me. Don't forget me and my family. When you get to Arafat, don't forget me and my family. Even the brothers here in Saudi Arabia that work in the stores, some of them are really looking to get married. Yeah. So you see them and you tell me you're Haji, they say, please make dua for me on Arafat. So everyone knows the great virtues of Arafat. So we ask Allah to accept our duas on Arafat.
I mean, since I looked at it now, look at it that way now, actually, and wallahi, I mean, this is the whole purpose of this segment, is so that I get the opportunity to benefit as well. And being that you said that in those beautiful narrations by the Prophet ﷺ, even add more virtue to the understanding of Arafat. And this is why in the beginning of the show, I tried to, establish some of the virtues by way of, authentic narrations of the Prophet ﷺ, just to show people that, when something is being established by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at that point, then it doesn't come from his desire. So at that point, the virtue that's established in these authentic narrations bring you closer to understanding the virtues of performing them. So, not only just the experience you just mentioned, but also those beautiful hadith just brought me closer to understanding why, I must ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify my intentions and increase me in sincerity when it comes time to reach Arafat and make supplications for brothers who you do want to see good for them. You do want to see good for them. So it's not really like, like a shopping list. It's more so like you want to see the outcome just as bad as they want to see the outcome of your supplication. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely to accept our dua first and foremost for ourselves and our families, and for all the brothers that make the list. Alhamdulillah. So going now traveling to Muzdalifah, what do I have to expect,
Muzdalifah, I hope you brought a nice sleeping bag.
Yeah, mashallah.
We will be sleeping out on a plane, no beds, some nice rocks and dirts are there to welcome you.
Yeah.
My first Hajj, when I went to Muzdalifah, I had a sleeping bag, but I came back to New York. Alhamdulillah, I was really sick from the dust and the cold. Yeah. You can't have your head covered, and you're just out in the open. Some people just there with the towels on. Alhamdulillah, I had the sleeping bag. Muzdalifah, you spending the night there in preparation for the next day. You may go to sleep and no one's there, and you wake up, there's 15,000 people surrounding you because they're coming all throughout the night to Muzdalifah. That was another experience of me sleeping out in the open.
So inshallah, I'm looking forward to this experience, and hopefully, the sleeping bag that I got serve its purpose. And inshallah, I mean, wallahi, it's just a pleasure seeing you.
as well.
seeing your face and being able to, you know, join you on this beautiful pilgrimage. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for both of us
Ameen.
and all of us for that matter.
Ameen.
Inshallah, jazakallah khair for coming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
So this wraps up Hajj Memories. This is your brother Amir Junaid. I just want to thank all the viewers and my guests and everyone that made this possible. By Allah's permission, inshallah ta'ala, may Allah accept our ibadah and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us and make us firm upon that which is pleasing to Him. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك الله